Wholesalers, what's up? I'm KB and I've been closing deals for over 20 years. Today we're going to walk through how to exactly and properly fill out an assignment of contract once you've located your end buyer. Let's get into it. Before we start filling it out, let's just quickly go over what an assignment contract is. So you were direct to seller. You had your wholesale contract filled out, you marketed it to an end buyer, an entity likely, who's either gonna come in and fix and flip it or buy and hold it, or maybe they're just acquiring it for their own portfolio. But you are assigning your contractual position in your A to B wholesale contract to the assignee who is going to replace you as the buyer. It is very important that we understand that the buyer that you are assigning it to is assuming all rights and requirements as outlined in your wholesale contract. So for example, if in your A to B contract, you promised to pay all closing costs and that is outlined, then the assignee has to come in and take over that requirement, and they are responsible on the hook for paying all closing costs. Now, it is a good idea to reiterate that in the assignment contract so there are no gaps and there are no whoopsies, if you will, at the end of the transaction when you're all at the closing table and now all of a sudden the assignee doesn't want to pay for the closing costs. It is also very important that you know that you are required to deliver a copy of the A to B wholesale contract redacted with your price to the seller, or to the buyer, because they are entitled to it. That's what they are buying. They are not buying the property from you, they are buying the contract from you. And in order for them to know what they're buying, well, you have to provide it to them. So easy to redact the price on your A to B so that they don't see that. And if you have any contact information for the seller, easy to redact that as well before you send it over to them. But they should see a copy of the contract with all of the terms of the contract that they are buying. Now, let's get into how to fill it out. So, at the top of your assignment agreement, you're going to put in, obviously, the date that you're assigning it. And the between is the assigner, so this is yourself. So for me, I am I Buy Homes Cash LLC. Clean it up. And the assignee is DHP Property Invest LLC. And it's for property located at 123 Main Street, Mesa, Arizona, 85201. Wouldn't it be so funny if there was actually a 123 Main Street? I should look it up. Whereas I Buy Homes Cash LLC entered into a purchase contract, or a purchase agreement, with John Smith and Mary Smith. Okay. And the reason you don't have to redact the seller name on the A to B contract is because it's on the assignment contract, so they're going to know the name anyways. So there's really no reason to hide it. Okay, now here's where things get a little awry for some reason. The total purchase price here is your price that you locked up with the seller. So I was under contract for $100,000 and I am selling it, I marketed it to the assignee at $120. And that is the price that goes on here. So we agreed actually on 121,123.00. We spell this out. We can shorten this a little bit if we want to keep things nice and tidy, or you could type out 121,000 and no cents, either or is fine. But we don't put just the difference. So we don't put the $21,000 that I'm making on the deal. You put the full purchase price that you marketed and you and the assignee agreed upon. Okay. Now on the closing date, we agreed to close on May 1st, 2026. So get that here. I don't know what that little extra something rather is. And for earnest money, I always start, so if it's under $150,000, I do $2,500 in earnest money. If it's over $150,000 as the purchase price, then I do $5,000. But you can do whatever you want. And did I really actually just do that? I never said I was good at math. I'm just good at contracts. All right, and it's gonna be held by your title partner, my title partner. And you would put in, you know, whatever title company you're partnership with. And I have my earnest money due within 24 hours. So we're signing this contract today, which is the 4th of April, and it's a Saturday. So obviously earnest money is going to be due by Monday, April 6th, 2026. And then when I was doing my negotiations, the buyer told me that they were gonna be paying cash. Something to remember, a little KB tip, if you will, is cash, private money and hard money typically are classified as cash transactions because it is not going through a lending process. It's okay to ask and have them specify, are you actually paying cash self-funded or are you getting private or hard money loan? And then I would put this clause in that we're gonna talk about into effect. But otherwise, lender would be lender financed, meaning they're going to a Kiavi or a Wells Fargo or a Chase, and they're actually getting documented financing. So depending on that, you would move or check the box here. So they said they're gonna do cash on this one, so I would mark it, or I would leave that box cash, and then we'll do a fill-in check when we have it executed by DocuSign. And then I have a little ninja trick in my assignment contract to protect the integrity of the transaction and to make sure that the assignee that I'm working with is actually serious. So if they're getting any type of loan, whether that be private money, hard money, or financed, I have a clause in here that says that if they don't close by the agreed upon contract date and it goes past that, in order for them to fund, they are charged $250 per day as a daily penalty for every day that it takes their lender to get the funds done or get the transaction done. So we're close of escrow on May 1st here, so I'm gonna go past May 1st, 2026. Okay, and then everybody initials it, assignor and assignee, it's right under here, so nobody can say, oh, I didn't know. Yes, you did, because you initialed. You understood and agreed that if you got any type of loan or financing, you're on the hook. You are responsible for making sure that your lender delivers in the timeline that you gave me. 2 weeks is really fast for a lender, so we're gonna start looking at that. And then we're gonna scroll down, and then you're gonna print Kirsten Banks, authorized signer is fine, or member, which is what I really am, so I would be correcting it to member. And then the assignee would be whatever the person's name you're talking to, Joe DiMaggio, member. Bada bing, bada boom, you've just drafted an assignment contract, get it sent out, get it opened with title, make sure your assignee gets a copy of that redacted contract after they've signed this, let them deposit earnest money, and away you go. You're gonna be getting paid $21,000 within no time. Now, I wanna go back to one special clause that I have in this contract, and that is limitation of assignment. So we have this special paragraph in here, and it's done on purpose. This is preventing people from daisy chaining deals. A lot of times what happens is you're gonna talk to a buyer and they actually are a wholesaler, and maybe they're gonna bring another buyer. And there's a couple ways to play this here. One, you're locking up, and you really need to be very careful that you're not locking up with another wholesaler who's gonna then just go try to find a buyer and they're gonna assign it. This clause prevents this assignment contract from being reassigned in any capacity. So if you have somebody that comes to you and says, hey, I have a buyer, you have two ways to play this. One, you're gonna have to draft an addendum that allows the contract to be assignable, and you're gonna need to put some very specific language in there to protect your interest, your earnest money, and your seller. Or you're gonna say, I'm happy to JV the assignment fee with you for the proceeds, and I need the assignment agreement signed by your end buyer. It's gonna be a harder conversation. It's gonna take some really good talk tracks, but it's actually the cleaner way to do that. Then you draft a JV partnership agreement between you and basically the person who's bringing you the buyer, and you guys divide the assignment fee split. So whatever he's adding on top, and you just say, hey, my assignment fee is X. I don't care if you add something on top. We'll do a JV agreement that my assignment fee is this based on this, and your assignment fee is this based on that, and then title can follow that instruction accordingly. Now you have a really clean transaction. If you use an assignment contract that has a limitation of assignee in it or assignment in it, and then you go assign that contract and allow them to assign the contract, their assignment agreement between them and their end buyer, if they fail to close on that one and they've deposited earnest money, that assignor, your assignee, is the one that gets the earnest money back, and now you're left with no earnest money in the deal. You get nothing, and now you have to go back to your seller and say, whoopsies, I'm not ready to close as I thought, and you need to make decisions from there. So be very careful, be very aware of who the buyer is and what they're doing when you're talking to them. It's okay to have a conversation. I ask flat out, are you the end buyer, or are you looking to further assign this contract? And then we come up with a good game plan from there. If you don't have an assignment contract like mine, or you'd like to beef up yours, I have an assignment contract that I do offer in my contract bundle. Click the link below in the description box in order to get that. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And if you want to get more content like this, hit the bell so you know when we drop more content. We'll see you on the next one. Love you, mean it.